Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
There's an abandoned motel called the Royal Hawaiian Motel. It's been abandoned for, I'm pretty sure, well over a decade. I do a lot of solo urban exploration, sometimes at night. The Royal Hawaiian Motel is located in Baker, California, and during the day it gets scorching hot, too hot to be walking around with my backpack. So I chose to go to the motel during the night. It was very easy to get to. I parked on the side of the road.
Do you ever go to California? Let me know in the comments below. I sometimes go to California on vacation with my family every, 2 years or so. But it's a lot of fun. Let me know what your thoughts are of California in the comments below.
Road and walked over. There really was no fence or anything to hop over, and there was no security. It was one of the easier structures to get to that I've explored for sure. In the back was a really deep pool with a ton of graffiti. I shined my flashlight up at the actual motel, and I noticed half of the upstairs room's doors were slit open slightly or just completely shattered. Kinda creepy looking, but also expected since the place had been abandoned for so long. Of course, other people have explored there. A part of the motel also looked like it had been engulfed in flames and partially burnt down. I looked around the outside for a little while. It was late at night, so there were no sounds of nearby passing traffic. Besides the sounds of my shoes stepping over various pieces of debris, at one point, my blood ran cold when I heard a voice from somewhere in the vicinity. It sounded like a female's voice. My first instinct in these scenarios is to assume it's some kind of security worker or somebody who may cause trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I think my blood would run cold too. Wouldn't yours? That's the last thing you would expect in an abandoned, creepy place like this. To hear someone's voice. I think that would be pretty creepy.
Trouble for me, so I typically tend to walk out of sight and hide. That's what I did. I ran to one of the other rooms on the ground level and turned off my flashlight. I waited just a minute, and after hearing nothing, I turned it back on. I looked around this little room I was in, and the walls were littered with graffiti. There was only one piece of furniture in here. It was a little dresser with like 4 drawers on it, and then some dusty, dirty old mattress on the floor. I wondered if homeless people would come and sleep here, but honestly, it's just so far away from any real civilization that I doubted it. I left the room and continued around the motel. I would peek inside every little opening on the ground floor below the overhead walkway for the upper level rooms. Each room was pretty similar to the last, with different miscellaneous graffiti and writings on the walls and old dilapidated furniture. Then I heard a crash type sound from above, like something falling over. I felt my heart skip a beat. I went back outside and pointed my flashlight up at the walkway above, at the broken glass doors. I felt a rush as I decided to go up there and check out the rooms. What I felt like deep down was that there was an animal in one of the rooms, but there's always that chance that...
This guy is pretty ballsy, isn't he? I mean, first the voice, then all these other noises. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a huge fan of urban exploration, but you do have to use your common sense and judgment in these types of situations because you never know who or what could be lurking about.
You run into other explorers or perhaps a homeless person in places like this. I made my way upstairs and peeked into each room that I passed. They were all similarly furnished with junk, debris, old mattresses, and odd pieces of old furniture. As I walked further down the walkway, a banging sound became audible. It got louder as I continued to walk. It was a consistent, slow banging, like thump, 2 seconds, thump, 2 seconds, thump. Someone was here. I approached the door to the room I was positive that it was coming from. As I got closer, it stopped. Uh-oh, maybe they heard my footsteps. I announced to whoever was in there that I'm just an explorer and I mean no harm. I peeked into the room with the flashlight now off. It was almost pitch black in there, but I'm 50% certain I saw the shape of a person a little further into the room by the back wall. The room smelled like straight feces. I pulled my head out from the room to look down at my flashlight and turn it on, but in a careful position to not point the light right into the room right away. I aimed it down at first at the floor, and then peered into the room again, and slowly pointed the light into the room. And I saw two pale, bare feet approaching me fast. In a muscle-jerk reaction, I pointed the light up more to fully reveal this woman with a bloodied forehead and yellow gunk on her mouth, which was hanging open. It was a sight from a nightmare.
Dang. That's pretty crazy, huh? I mean, this guy is very, very ballsy, I would say. And I think stupid is also a right word for it too, because I don't know, if you heard banging in a room like that, would you go and investigate, or would this be enough to creep you out and get out of there? But dang, this pale lady with gunk coming out of her mouth and blood on her forehead, that's kind of like a scene straight out of a horror movie.
Was out of there so quick. I heard the woman screaming as I was running away, and her screams didn't get much further away, which told me she was chasing after me. I ran down the stairs and back outside. I ran the entire way back to my car. I wasn't followed this far. I called one of my good friends, George, who's also into urban exploration. I had invited him to come with me originally to this place, but he was unable to. I told him what just happened. We came to a weird and disturbing agreement that the thumping I was hearing was that woman banging her head on the wall, hence why her forehead was so bloody. When I asked if I should call the police, kind of just thinking out loud, he said definitely not, as I'd be admitting to trespassing. I actually drove around the immediate area by the Taco Bell and the few stores in the area, looking for a payphone so I could anonymously call the police about this deranged, dangerous woman. But obviously payphones are really a thing of the past, so it was just a pointless effort. What I ended up doing was calling the non-emergency number and reporting the deranged woman, but also claiming I was not the one to find her. Rather, I heard someone else had run into her. I was as vague as possible, and I hung up. Because I didn't want to stick around there, I don't know if the police eventually went to investigate, but whatever was wrong with that woman, she should have been in a psych ward or something. In all of my years of exploring, I'd never encountered anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely really creepy. And I don't know, if I were to encounter something like that on an urban exploration trip, I wouldn't want to go urban exploring again, honestly. Like, that is crazy. And I think it does happen from time to time where, as sad as it is, I think it does happen from time to time where these mental patients escape from the psych wards. And I think that's what happened here, because that's just what it sounds like to me. I mean, is there any other logical explanation for it? I guess there are a number of different paranormal explanations that it could be. But the most normal explanation, even though this isn't a normal situation at all, would be that she did escape from a psych ward. And it's sad, you know? Like, that's a person, too, in that much of a jacked up state. Like, dang. You almost want to feel sorry for them. But this is why you have to be careful when you're urban exploring. And I don't think anyone should do urban exploration alone. So, if you're into that kind of thing, just be sure to go in a group of at least 3. That's my advice, but just keep your wits about you. I would have weapons or some kind of pepper spray in case you do come across something really dangerous, but yeah, those are just my 2 cents, but I thought this was a really creepy story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.